Welcome to arguably my biggest and possibly the hardest decorating challenge in the whole of Animal Crossing New Horizons history. For the past few months, I have been not tirelessly, I have definitely taken a break along the way, but either way, I have been working on this island trying to turn every single one of these tiles into a beautifully decorated area. What's so special about that, I hear you ask? Well, each one of these tiles is a different theme. I can't count, but you're going to have to take my word for it, as that is a lot of different themes. So welcome to part one of me trying all of the Animal Crossing themes and attempting to make a semi-decent island. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more and see whether this turned out to be a hot mess or not. So this started at the beginning of 2025, new year, new island and all that jazz. And as with every new island journey, we were, of course, greeted by the enigmatic Timmy and Tommy. Surprisingly, I wasn't too fussy about my new island, and the only real requirement I had was that there was a green airport. Bonus points for me, as I didn't accidentally name my island after myself. I've learnt from my mistakes. This was a beautiful starter map, and if you're interested, my starters were Drift and Myra. Spoiler, they will not be staying. I quickly made myself at home collecting twigs and of course fruit. We all need a refreshing beverage. Then came the time to name this island, and I for once put aside the flower name and went with the name Chunk. Yes, it reminds me of chocolate chip cookies and I love it for that, but I also think it's a perfect name because every tile is essentially a chunk. With little to no argument from the other residents, we were officially moved in and the island named. So now might be a good time to explain the rules. As you can see, the map is drawn into little boxes, and every box on this island will have its own theme, no repeats. I must use all the villager homes, no hiding them on the beaches. Aside from that, there aren't really a lot of rules. Treasure islands are allowed and beaches do not have to be decorated. But before we could actually get to the decorating, we had to reach 3 stars and of course unlock terraforming. By now you will all know what that entails when speedrunning to get to 3 stars, but here is a brief highlight reel. I struggled my way to get to the 5,000 Nook miles because that involves actually playing the game, but I'm pretty proud of myself for outrunning some wasps. For the first time ever, I actually did some stretching, and I won't lie, that didn't go all that well. I had a smashing selection from Mabel, and not sure why the orange safety helmet didn't remain for the entire series. This is an absolute look. Yes, I had an obligatory ugly first villager in my tent. In fact, Hippo was probably one of the worst ever villagers I've had arrive on my island. Thankfully, my starter villagers made up for it, I think. We had Rosie, Aurora and Bo. That's a pretty good lineup. As per usual, I also put down my fencing in a very artistic fashion. And speaking of artistic, with Able Sisters open, I couldn't resist a spot of code shopping, so I went ahead and picked out some versatile paths that I could use for a number of different themes. After the brief code shopping intermission, it was time to get back to trying to achieve 3 stars, and after grabbing a couple more villagers and chucking down a bunch of random furniture and growing flowers I will probably never use, the day was finally here, and roll the end credits, KK. But alas, we aren't stopping here yet. In fact, we haven't even started. I wasted no time and thought I would go into this and be organised, so I started to map out the different boxes. Then I realised this probably actually wasn't the most time effective thing to be doing, and instead I just started with my first theme for my entrance. For this, I decided to go for an OG theme, something that celebrates the wonderful trees in this game. Of course, it is Forest Core. So for Forest Core, we are going to start in this area. I may have gone outside of the chunk for the beginning, but there isn't a lot I could do about that because honestly, if I had just left it as like a blank green space and then started the chunk in the chunk, it would have just looked very, very strange. So we went in with some wooden planks and then some of the path, the dirt path. We love this one, and to me this is one of the most kind of forest core paths that you can use. I feel like dirt is just an obvious choice for forest core. It gives the idea that the kind of ground has been trampled away over the years. And I wanted to add a little bit of height. When it comes to terraforming for this challenge, I do think that it is going to be a little bit hard to achieve because you kind of have to think about how it's going to flow into the next section. So I might just have like smaller little bits of terraforming here and there, but for an entrance I really think I wanted to give it some height. So that's why we are adding this in, and I'm just going to go in with some natural stuff. For forest core, I really feel like you have to go in with all of that natural stuff, and I do love this theme. I've never really embraced a whole island, but all of the kind of foliage that we have in the game, the flowers, the wheat fields, the bushes, and more recently things like vines and stuff have really I really love decorating with them. I really enjoy it, and I think there are so many good items that if you really think about it, you can incorporate the vine items, even like the leaf piles. Like there's so many good things in this game that you can use to make areas feel natural and really kind of hit into that forest core kind of aesthetic. I haven't even thought about like the log furniture and the log benches and things like that. The retro transportation stop perhaps isn't the most obvious thing, but I think the color choice for this one and how it feels a little bit kind of more rustic and abandoned really fits into this area. And you might see me a few times trying to kind of gauge whether it looks okay because I'm like tilting the camera down, but I think it just fitted really nicely, snugly in that little kind of dip in the terraforming as well. And then we have some more of this path. My main idea is to kind of flow it through this whole area. I might have to do a couple different areas off, but I really kind of need to think about that when I'm decorating this, because you need to be able to walk around this island. So having a few ways that you can move through the different squares and chunks is going to be very, very important. Another thing that you can see me here doing now is just checking down a load of custom designs. I love these looks, like having like cluttered custom designs on the floor. I know it's probably not for everyone, but I do think it kind of gives something a little bit extra. I am a clutter queen. I am not one for having lots and lots of empty spaces, so if I can have as much kind of filled as possible, that just is a lot more pleasing to me. Also, I do like this fence. I ummed and ahed. I think we were doing this one on stream, to be honest, and I ummed and ahed about what fencing to use. Again, for forest core, if you're trying to get inspiration for working on that theme, there are so many good fences that do work with this one. I just decided to go for this one as I thought it was a little bit more kind of rusticy, and I do like the way that it looks like kind of little tiny little log trunks. I forgot what the word was there, but they do kind of look like trunks, so I think that's pretty cool. I do like the barbed wire fence. That's another good option. The wooden fence would also have been really good as well. Let me know what your favorite fence is in the whole game. I was going to say just with forest core, but actually no, in the whole game. Back here, so this is kind of the back left of this chunk, and you can see where the chunk kind of ends is where I'm going to add in another little bit of terraforming just to add in some heights. One of the things that I love about forest core and when you see the islands is how they make beautiful kind of scenic landscapes, and there's always so many trees in the background at different heights, different things. We're probably not going to realistically be able to achieve that with this space because it is so tiny, but at least here we can add in kind of a little bit of height, a little bit of something. The mush furniture, again, I struggled here to try and get this mush log in, but it kind of worked out in the end. I just needed to move this tree. Sometimes things are a little bit finicky when it comes to placing items in this game, and I do hope that maybe with a new game potentially, excuse the pun, on the horizon after the 3.0 update, then maybe that is something that they will really think about. I really love the decorating in this game, but there are just a few little things that they could tweak to make it better. So for the forest core section, I decided that this area where the big kind of dirt path is, I saved you from watching me put down endless amounts of path, don't you worry, is where I thought it'd be nice to have like a little bit of a clearing in the forest, maybe a little bit of a picnic spot, somewhere where you can sit down and enjoy some food. Yes, this drives me crazy. Another thing that I do think that they could fix is perhaps knowing what customization option is for an item before you put it down. They've done it in a game called Paleo, which I also play, and it really helps when you're designing because you know then what you are putting down exactly. Whereas in Animal Crossing, apart from the name, it's a little bit of like a roulette. Are you going to get the item you want? Are you not? So it would be helpful for that. This is the front here. I said in the rules I'm not going to decorate my beaches just because that doesn't really form much of a chunk. So I really wanted to make it look nice along the edge here. And then Rosie decided to come along and do her Rosie thing and sit down. Thankfully, she did move away, which allowed me to do some decorating. You can see her off in the back there. But I did, one of my favorite things for Forest is just putting down this log bench. It just looks like a felled tree, and I just love the way that it kind of adds something different because you see a lot of greenery or a lot of your flower choices. So having a little bit more brown, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing at all. I am kind of glad that I mixed up the wheat fields here, which is why I'm kind of running around kind of changing things just because, again, I think that adds up some difference, some texture, and also some color variant as well, which is very important. Here is me attempting to fill absolutely all of the space. As you can see now, it is like absolutely filled. There is no way that anyone will be able to walk through there, which is fine. We don't need people to be able to walk through there. But if it was, maybe that would be more of a problem. But hey. And then this side, we're just working on, I haven't spoken about my flower choices for this. I think forest core you can pretty much do with any colors, and one of my kind of decorating rules is to kind of keep to like a few different colors, not have too many. And I thought that the green and the white would look nice here. I do love white flowers. Call me basic, call me boring, but I do like the white flowers in the game. I have experimented with more color over the years, definitely, but I do think that they are always going to be my go-to. And I think when you're doing forest core, having the white flowers is quite nice because it kind of complements the green and just has something that kind of pops out a bit more. And then using kind of like the creamy mushrooms as well, I think that that does complement it too. Obviously the green mums are in there as well. I just wanted to add in something a bit more green as well, just to kind of break up the white. And I do like the green mums. As hard as they are to get, like if you're playing legitimately, they are so hard to get, but I do love having them in the game, and I think that they are a wonderful kind of color choice. I would like more green. Maybe something like a fern or something would be really fun, but hey, it is what it is for now. For this, I also love to add in little kind of nods to kind of animals too. So the bunny decor items are a great filler piece. I also didn't talk about how I have chopped down one of the trees. It is forest core after all, and if you're thinking about forest management, then perhaps you do need to sacrifice some of those trees and make them look adorable by having little tree stumps everywhere. The baby tree stumps are some of the cutest I've ever seen. So I did take a break from this chunk for a little bit of a time, and then I came back to it, and there was this little space at the back right area, so I decided to add in a little pond. I just thought it might be a nice way to fill out the space and have something a bit different from just trees. Ponds are obviously natural, you do find them in forests as well, so I thought it would be a cute little space filler. And there is also a way to access the resident services from here, which is kind of what I want, and you can really see how the path on the other side kind of snakes off backwards as well, which is very handy. Not me accidentally going into my Nook Miles, rookie mistake there. But for the duck pond itself, obviously puddles are one of the cutest ways that I do like to kind of make it stand out that it is a puddle, and then that it is a puddle, that it is a pond. So you kind of have like little kind of water splashes, and then you can have your ducks sat there as well. I don't know how often ducks actually sit in puddles, but you know, it's adding those layers, it's adding those details, which I do love to do. So the forest area is really coming together now. I decided to take a bit of a break from like placing down trees and work on that kind of picnic spot. For this, I kind of ummed and ahed as to what table and what chairs I wanted to use, but I did decide to go for the log one. I could have gone in with like a cute little table with the fancy tablecloth over the top, but no, I decided to go for that one. And then I realized I had still had a lot of furniture in my pockets that kind of was for like random filling spaces. So I decided to kind of get rid of some of that by just chucking it down. It is literally a lot of the time just chuck stuff down and then hope for the best. There is our ducky number 1, and our ducky number 2 can go up here. Don't know why I'm calling them duckies. They are definitely ducks, and I'm not 5 years old, but you know, ducky is kind of cute. Anyway, flowers, logs, we have another one of these. I wanted to incorporate it in again, and I think it's further enough away from the other one so it doesn't feel like just a repeat, just doing the same thing over and over, which I think is kind of hard to achieve sometimes. If I did a whole island like this, then maybe I would need to get a little bit more creative with what I'm doing and how things look like a little bit more kind of natural and things, but I don't think it's looking too bad for now. It doesn't feel too repetitive, like there's still a lot going on. The mushrooms and dropping acorns and stuff, that is another great tip. Pine cones look wonderful. If you have the little log stool as well, put that down, drop a little acorn on top of it and then to the side of it. So I did go in with some benches. I thought I would use benches as opposed to chairs because I feel like that's more fitting for a picnic spot, and adding in some patterns which I feel like fit in here. So we're nearly done with this spot. I will give you a little bit of a walkthrough and then we will get on with the next one. So that is forest core all done. Now it's time to look at another theme that I have done a whole island for and I kind of love. It is, of course, farm core. To get started with this chunk, I decided that we needed a nice farm-themed villager, and the only one that I really had was Norma, so I decided to place her home here. I'm not sure that I really want her to stay because she does have a very big house, which doesn't necessarily scream my kind of farm core. But for now, she's gonna make do, and the first thing I did was actually be kind of organized and map out everything the way that I wanted the paths to flow and how I wanted the farm areas to be, because obviously this is going to be a farm area, so we're going to need some plots as well. I decided to go for the same path that I've used in the forest core area, which means that these areas should hopefully flow really nicely. I don't think the other themes are going to flow quite as nice, but while we're at the point where we can definitely have things flowing, I'm going to kind of make use of the custom designs I have, so it means I don't have to kind of flip and change too many and kind of find more ones. I also have this really nice wood plank, which I think is going to be really versatile for a number of different themes as well, so I'm quite grateful for that I found that one. It's in a really nice color as well, like a nice warm tone. But anyway, I think the combo with that and the dirt path really will help scream farm core. For the plot areas, for the crops, I've done one of like my staple things that I love to do when I'm making farms, and that is alternate the different in-game dirt paths. So you have the light dirt path and then the dark one. So doing this means that you don't have just one big block of dirt, which is fine in most cases, but when it comes to farms, I feel like it gives the illusion that the area's been plowed or something. I know that's probably not how it works, but to me it adds a nice little bit of detail as well. And then this is going to flow out the back here, which is hopefully going to help me when it comes to the next theme. With my path down, it was time to start planting some of these crops. I may have made a bit of a boo-boo with these as I forgot to water them, and I honestly cannot be bothered to replant them and sort that all out again. So they are just going to be singular wheat when they grow in, which looks a bit sad, but it is what it is. Maybe Norma is not the best farmer after all. And then to give the area a little bit of a pizzazz, we've got a windmill so far, and I also wanted to make a shed. I think we did this on stream and someone came up with the idea of putting some hay up here. So what I did was I built a cliff and then we went in with some of the wheat fields. I decided I preferred the more kind of warmer toned wheat fields for this, as it just felt a little bit more realistic. And then all you have to do is knock down that little cliff tile and put a door out front. And then ta-da, you have your own little shed, which I kind of love. The storefronts are still one of my all-time favorite items after the 2.0 update. And then just some like little bits and pieces around. So I thought having a nice little kind of garden tap would be good here. And then we needed some more path just to kind of help kind of flow the area through into the other area, which maybe wasn't a necessity, but just filling up the floor a bit definitely kind of helps make things feel a bit fuller. And then just had to pop that bucket back down. So here we just have a little bit more path. I do like breaking up the paths, especially with this one, because it helps give the illusion that the area's kind of been worn away a little bit. And what would a farm build be without the perfect little rocking chair? This point I was a little bit all over the place. I do apologize for that, but I was kind of back and forth and I was like, I don't know what to do next. It was all kind of starting to come together, but it was at that point where I was like, I don't know if I'm still happy with this. But I think farms, they're a pretty kind of thing that I've done quite a few of now, so I should know what I'm doing, and a silo is a great option as well. I'm really going for the stereotypical kind of farm items, but I couldn't figure out where exactly I wanted it, so I just did some changes. I don't know whether it was because this chunk kind of leads off onto the beach that it really kind of threw me a little bit, but I decided the windmill looked a bit better behind the shed there. And then hay bales are an absolute must. These stacks of bags, I don't really know what they are, but they're giving like burlap sacks, which is perfect for a farm. And obviously I do have those little custom designs I wanted to add down. Another huge tip for farms is dropping things. So tools are great for this. Having a shovel, a ladder, maybe even like a watering can. Some of the watering cans really give more farm than others, so bear that in mind. The silo, I finally found a good home for it. Some more hay beds, obviously we needed that. And then I was just trying to find some other items that complement this. Barrels, of course. If you don't know me, I am an absolute sucker for a good barrel. And then over this corner we had I'd done the left hand side, so I was pretty happy with that. I'm really trying to kind of get all of the different builds that I've done for FarmCore in, so I thought a good one for this is incorporating in the tractor and obviously the love of the wheat fields. Again, I went for those nice warm toned wheat fields, and I just literally wanted to fill the whole area, so as many wheat fields as I possibly could to give the illusion of the tractor in the field, maybe like plowing. And then it dawned on me that maybe perhaps the tractor would look good if we kind of moved it forward a bit as well. So what I did was once I had obviously put down all of my wheat fields, I decided to pick some of them up and then put the merchandise table behind the tractor to give it the illusion of a trailer. I've done this a few times. I did it for a kind of autumn build, and I put lots and lots of like pumpkins and things on the back of it, but honestly anything farm related kind of works. So anything you can think of that might look good on the back of a tractor or really fits with it works for this. And the merchandise table works perfectly in that green as well. So it's just a really cute little idea. And if you want something a bit extra just on your tractor, it works wonderfully. So I decided to chop down this tree just to give the path something nice. And then over for this section, I thought we need some more farm area. And also I wanted to add in a little kind of, not so much a farmer's market, but more like a farmer's stall. You know, those sorts of stalls that you see at the side of the road where it's like an honesty type thing where you leave money in the box and stuff and then you take the produce. That's what this is kind of inspired by. So for this, obviously we need some barrels so that we can get some height in here. I love this Turkey Day item. It's one of my favorites, especially for farm. And I think it looks really good with like the wheat in the background, just combining that. And then I thought I had an apple in my inventory. I thought, why not? Let's just drop this down here. Accidentally put the wooden box on the storage like stall thing, and then I was like, did I know that this was possible? After all these years, I'm not sure I did know that that was possible, but now you know as well. So let me know if you knew that you could put boxes on top of the stalls. I think I did maybe know that you could stack them, but it never really dawned on me to do it. So now you know you can go ahead and stack your boxes. And then I'm gonna go in, we're gonna have another nice little patch of crops, and for this one I'm doing the same sort of thing. You will notice when I do this, sorry, I had to when I do this, I kind of stagger the edges just to make it look a little bit more kind of rustic. Obviously I had to get rid of this line. This is kind of my boundary for the whole chunk, and I went back in, decided that I was gonna have to put down my antique register and also some little producey bits. That veggie basket is chef kiss, perfection. And then it's time for pumpkins galore. I really enjoy doing pumpkins farms because you can really mix and match the spooky lantern set and also the like grown pumpkins, the dropped pumpkins. You can just get all the pumpkins. Like, there's so many pumpkins, and if you want to, you can have it all one color. If you don't want it all one color, then you can mix and match with all of the different ones, which I quite like doing because I think it's just a little bit more interesting. The spooky chair is also a great item, but if you are going to use the kind of furniture pieces, just make sure that you like rotate them around, because having a spooky face looking at you when you're admiring the growing pumpkins is not really very accurate. But I mean, if you want a possessed farm, then that's absolutely up to you as well. For me, it just looks a little bit better. I haven't done it here, but when I have done pumpkin farms in the past, I have also found like vine custom designs and put those down on top of the dirt and layer it, which looked really effective. So we're coming to the end here now. I do just add a few bits, but I'm going to show you what it looked like when it was all done. So that was FarmCore. I think I might come back and tweak that a little bit maybe. Next up is another theme that I have done in the past, and I decided to do a festival section, and I'm going to incorporate my campsite with this one. So before we actually get to the decorating, can we just all have a little bit of moment of peace for this double rainbow? It's moments like this where you really appreciate Animal Crossing. But anyway, here is the campsite, and we're gonna kind of work our way around this to create a little festival stage. Before I got too far into the decorating, I decided I might need some codes, and for this festival island section a little bit, I decided that I needed a different color theme from what I did on my festival island previously, so I went for a green and yellow color palette, and I think this might be quite versatile. So as you can see, there is this gorgeous rug. This was an adorable pattern. I love these. If you're looking for cute rugs, definitely get this one, and you'll see some of the rest of the patterns later. So here we are. This is me kind of doing some work around the campsite. If you want to know who was in the campsite, it was someone awful. I feel like it was the cow with the red eyes. It wasn't looking good, so can't remember her name. Naomi maybe. And then this is me failing at putting down some of the plank design. I wanted to get it under this kind of entranceway, and I struggle with putting down items or custom designs through this when you just want to fill a whole area. I don't know if it's just me. Maybe after all these years I still haven't learnt it. I'm sure that's something that I've grumbled about in the past. I don't know why. My brain is just like, doesn't quite comprehend. But now this is going to be the stage. So the whole camp tent area is going to be transformed into a stage where there's going to be a performer, and then obviously you want kind of like chill seating area. So as I want it to be like festival vibes, I'm got the idea that it's summer in the sun and everyone's just kind of laid out their little blankets here, and we'll get some chairs in and stuff and layer it out. This obviously wasn't going to be big enough for the stage, so we had to expand it out a little bit. I thought that just the two might be good enough, so I started going in with like the microphone, the speakers and such, yet it wasn't really working. Apparently I needed to bring it out one more tile just so that we had enough room, which I don't think looks too bad. And once we have all the other furniture items in, like this floor monitor, and I think it works okay. So it feels a little bit cozy, but you can still walk through it if that is something that is important to you, and just some adjustments here. But yeah, as you can see, It is now officially a stage. It does look a lot better when the campsite isn't filled, trust me on that. And then over on this area, I know this is not within the chunk per se, but we can't have a peninsula that isn't decorated. So I thought that we'll come over here, we'll do a little bit of kind of design, and for this we are going to go and use my trusty portaloos. Because what screams festival more than having kind of portaloos, smelly, stinky portaloos. The first day they're normally fine, but after that, no, they're not nice. But they are just kind of stereotypical what you think of when you are going to a festival. So we had to have them in somewhere, even if it is over on the peninsula. And behind the portaloos, I added in some fences. I feel like when you do visit kind of festivals and stuff, they do have those types of fences dotted around. And obviously we need some toilet paper, and I don't think anyone's going to be using this toilet cleaning set, but it's there in case of emergencies. And then to kind of fill this in and kind of bring it into the chunk itself, we're using these little cobblestones, which I think are going to come in handy with being so kind of sparing with the types of custom designs I'm trying to save. This is another really good versatile one. And for this area, I did mention that I was going to do like a yellow and green theme. So for this, I'm going to stick with the yellow and white flowers. I could have added in some green mums, definitely, and I'm not sure why I didn't now thinking back to it, but I'm quite happy with that color palette. This section over here, I'm trying to think of other things that you really see at a festival, and obviously food trucks, little food, I don't know what that is, little food stalls is definitely a must as well. So we're just going to kind of lead this over to this section of the path, and just we'll work on some details there later. Obviously I just want to add some foliage and stuff in between the areas, so like flowers, wheat fields, bushes obviously are a must. And obviously I love some custom designs as well. I struggled to decide how I wanted like the positioning of stuff and whether I wanted the stool there, the truck. This truck design I really like. I feel like it's tacos or something, which is perfect. And there is going to be a lot of decorative bottles in this build. I love a good decorative bottle, so they're definitely going to have to come and be with us. This is kind of a furniture bench combo that I don't really use, so I'm kind of excited that I am able to use it and kind of experiment with other things, which is one of the great things about trying different themes. Sometimes you don't really get to use all the furniture items if you just stick to one certain theme. I know we all love one type of theme more than others. I'm sure I'm definitely more of a cottagecore kind of girl, springcore definitely, than I am kind of like more built up or definitely like industrial city stuff. So it makes sense that I wouldn't necessarily use those items. And then for the seating area, we're back over here as we have been, but I am just dropping some items around that kind of like gives a feeling of like people's belongings. It just helps make the area feel a lot more kind of lived in. Obviously you're not going to live here, but you know what I mean. And then down here we're going to have another path leading through this chunk. I don't know whether it's because we did the kind of peninsula on the end. Feels a lot larger than some of the others, which is very strange, but we do need a path flowing through. It is something that I am kind of struggling with already, is knowing where one chunk ends and where the other one begins. So having the chunk kind of paths already done is helping. I just need to remember to do it from the very get-go. And then I did have a little bit of a kind of doodah here, trying to figure out which way round I wanted these and trying to make it feel full and not have too much space in between. So I kind of mixed these around a bit. Obviously it's time to add in some kind of tents as well. We don't really have anywhere for people to camp so far, so I thought this little section we can put a little bit of a tent area. There goes me again with putting down some paths very badly. Just because I have a lot of hours in the game does not mean I am an expert at all, for sure. Again, this was another item that I was like, I don't really get to use this, so I did decide to kind of mix in with some of the camping furniture, and I thought a balloon would be really cute as well. So we did experiment with some of that. The bottle crates are another one of kind of the items that I really, really love. So I'm glad that we got them in as well. And also they come in really nice colors. If you're just wanting to add like a pop of color here, like I was with the yellow, it just works perfectly for that. And I do love that tent design with the little flowers up the side, very cute. So this is just going to be a little campfire. We can add in some smaller items rather. So we've got some cushions and somewhere just to sit and relax, and a nice log bench as well. Nothing too kind of fancy, but I feel like you don't want over the top stuff all that much. I did really want to use this Zen cushion. In the end, I did make it work. I am denied, but we got there in the end. And then just other camping stuff that I could think of. So like firewood. And I did want to get in that utility wagon. That is one thing I think that is not used enough. I mean, again, it probably doesn't suit all themes, but I really do love the way that it fits with the camping theme. And if you go to a festival, just imagine how much you kind of have to trawl around with all of your kind of food, your tent, your drinks and stuff for the next few days. So you really do need something to help you get around. Although I'm not sure how successful they would be in kind of a muddy festival situation. But hey, so down here is kind of the entrance to this chunk, and for this little area I wanted to add in kind of like a little bit of a merch stand, a little bit of a shop area. When I've been to festivals in the past, some of the shops and the stalls they have, that's one of the best things to do, is just roam around them and see what kind of things, interesting things that they're selling, because trust me, they are always interesting. So for this, I just have this kind of fun little yellow hat and the rain boots, obviously because festivals, when it rains, it kind of turns everywhere into a mud pit. So that is kind of a must for festivals. And I'm sure plenty of people have forgot their welly boots in the past, so they need to go and buy them. I know I call them welly boots, which not everyone will know what that means, but basically they're called Wellington boots in the UK. So if you're not from the UK, that's why. I thought I'd just give you a little bit of lore there. And I'm kind of running around here just trying to fill up the whole area a little bit. It's really hard when you don't want to add trees because I don't want to cut away, particularly at the front. So I'm trying to kind of just go in with flowers and bushes and things. And then over on this side, you can kind of see where this chunk ends. And we just need to make some filler spots. So I thought kind of more tents and things would make sense. I also struggled with how to fill up the back of the campsite. As you can see, this is a different day now, so the campsite isn't full, and you can see how it kind of looks a lot different. I really like this, and particularly the bunting. I would have loved that bunting item, just like the little kind of sticks and then the flags in between. Imagine that as a furniture piece that could be customized. Very cute. I know the Festivale kind of flags would be quite similar, but it's definitely a different vibe to that. So I would have been here for that as an item. So this little section, we kind of have just a long strip left of this chunk now, so I just need to kind of fill it up with some more camping stuff. And I just wanted to use more kind of sleeping bags, the futons and all of that good stuff, and obviously tents, mixing and matching the white and the yellow together. I don't think the yellow is my all-time favorite tent. I do like the white one, but the flower detail on it is really nice. And then this kind of is the bottom of the chunk as well, so you can see I was a bit like, oh, I don't really know where to go next with this, so I just kind of moved around where I was working on. I couldn't kind of figure out how I wanted to, or where I wanted to work on next, which does become a bit of a problem, especially when you don't have much space left and you're just kind of trying to make the most of what you do have left. So instead of kind of working on that section, I decided to come back to the stall and kind of add in some more items, because I went to Abel's and she had some stuff in there and I was like, oh, some of this will work really nicely. That green dress is very kind of hippie-ish and I kind of love that. And then I thought I'll just add in another tent, get a utility wagon back here and maybe a barbecue too. And then I thought maybe we should actually put some custom design down on the bottom of it just to give it some layering. And then I didn't really realize how close I was to the edge, so we had to kind of figure that out a little bit. Yeah, so the utility wagon, and then we just have the barbecue and obviously a chair. I kind of traded out that lovely sleeping bag. Yes, I did accidentally put the outfit on instead of placing it down, but I thought that this was kind of a nice vibey dress for the whole kind of festival look, and obviously some drop socks. Then back down here, we're just trying to work out what to do next by just adding in some custom designs as filler and some cushions, because everyone needs cushions when they're sat around the fire, right? I don't think everyone will be bringing cushions with them to the festival, but it's there if perhaps you are brave enough to. And I do love layering these tents. Having the little custom designed blankets underneath is really, really nice, and it just adds in some color for you as well. A little bench, I thought the bench might be a better idea, maybe less flammable if you're sat around by a fire, but saying that, it is wood, so I'm not sure. And some more decorative bottles and snacks and things just to fill up the space. I tried kind of toying with that little section just for the walkway, but I didn't want to add the path all the way up, so it kind of had to stay a little bit blank. And then this is the final kind of corner, which I'm just going to fill with some more of like the flowers, trees. I don't know if I stunted that tree. I probably should have stunted that tree just so that you can see all the way up and it doesn't get blocked out and help frame the section. But yeah, we are nearly at the end now, and if you want to have like a full look, here it is. So there we have it. There is my intro to Chunk. I hope you've enjoyed seeing the progress so far. My plan is to release a new episode every week. So if you want to see how this island progresses, don't forget to like and also subscribe. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.